You know, for decades, we've all been told the same thing. If you want to achieve your goals, you got to think positive, right? Visualize success, push away any doubt, just focus on the good stuff. But what if that's not the whole story? What if the real key to getting what you want isn't about ignoring doubt, but actually embracing it? Well, we're going to dive into some absolutely fascinating research from Oxford Brookes University that pretty much turns all that common wisdom right on its head. I know, it's a bold question. It sounds completely backward. We're all conditioned to believe that positivity is the engine of success. But what we're going to explore here is some data that suggests our tougher emotions, things like doubt, anxiety, they might just be the secret ingredient we've been told to throw away. So first, let's just take a moment to appreciate how dominant this idea of positivity really is. I mean, it is everywhere. It's in self-help books, corporate training, you name it. And the core idea is always the same. Master your inner world, and success will be yours. And this quote really gets to the heart of it, right? Navigating our inner world is absolutely critical. But here's the problem this research digs into. Somehow, we've translated the word navigating to mean suppressing anything that feels negative. We've become obsessed with the positive pole. And as you're about to see, that might just be a huge mistake. And here is the paradox, the big disconnect. If thinking positive is the ultimate tool for a successful, happy life, then why are we, as a whole, feeling worse than ever before? This is exactly what researchers wanted to figure out. There's a clear gap between the advice we're all getting and the reality of how we actually feel. So, a researcher named Lindsay Foreman at Oxford Brookes University designed a study with a really cool goal: to make the unseen seen. The idea was to stop just guessing and to actually start mapping what is really going on inside our heads when we're chasing after a big goal. So here's how they did it, and it's pretty clever. They created a whole bunch of statements about feelings and thoughts you might have when you're working on something. Things like, I feel anxious or I feel determined. Then they had people literally sort these statements based on their own personal experience. The whole point was to let the real, honest patterns emerge, instead of trying to force people into boxes that psychologists had already made up. And what they discovered was incredible. It turns out people's inner worlds aren't just some random mess of thoughts and feelings. No, they actually clustered into 4 very distinct, very coherent mindsets, or what the study calls views, that people tend to adopt when they're trying to get something done. Okay, so this is basically the map they use to chart those inner worlds. Think of it like a mental and emotional GPS. On one axis, you have feelings from unpleasant all the way to pleasant. On the other axis, you've got energy level, from low to high. Every single mindset we're about to look at fits somewhere on this map. First up, we have the positive. Now, this is the person we all think we're supposed to be, right? They live up in that top right quadrant. Super high energy, super pleasant feelings. They feel competent, confident, determined. This is the poster child for the power of positive thinking. Next, meet the realist. And this is where it starts to get really interesting. The realist's inner world is a mix. Yeah, they've got that positive drive, but they also fully admit to feeling things like self-doubt, overwhelm, and anxiety. And the key thing is, they don't try to push that stuff away. Then we have the dreamer. Now, they also live in the land of pleasant feelings, always focused on hopes and possibilities. But unlike that high-octane positive type, their energy is a little lower. It's more about imagining success than it is about intensely driving towards it. And finally, there's the conflicted. This mindset is, well, it's a storm. It's a turbulent mix with high levels of both pleasant and unpleasant feelings all at once. It's an inner world defined by tension and constant change, the most unstable of the 4. Okay, so there you have it, the 4 types. You've got the super confident positive, the mixed bag realist, the hopeful dreamer, and the turbulent conflicted. Just take a second. Who's your money on? All the self-help books point to one clear winner, don't they? And here it is, the jaw-dropping result from the study. The realists, yep, the ones who are open about their self-doubt and anxiety, they had the highest success rate, and not just by a little, by a long shot. Meanwhile, only about a third of the positives and a measly quarter of the dreamers actually hit their goals. So the takeaway is unavoidable. Somehow, feeling bad was directly connected to doing well. I mean, this just turns everything we thought we knew completely upside down. It really forces us to ask, why? Why would the people who were feeling doubt and overwhelm actually be the ones who end up succeeding? Well, the answer lies in what the study calls the necessary negative. Okay, let's break this down. The people who are purely positive, the good vibes only crowd, they might be so focused on staying upbeat that they completely miss critical warning signs. Think about it. That feeling of anxiety is a signal, an alarm bell telling you that something needs your attention. If you just suppress it, you miss the message. The realist, on the other hand, they hear that alarm. Doubt makes them double-check their plan. Overwhelm tells them to regroup and maybe ask for help. See, those so-called negative feelings aren't roadblocks, they're data. They are a powerful feedback system telling the realist exactly where to focus. The study uses this perfect metaphor for this, and it's a battery. A battery is useless with only the positive terminal, right? It needs both the positive and the negative poles to create a current, to generate power. And that is such a brilliant way to think about our inner world. Real, sustainable success seems to require that dynamic tension between our positive drive and our negative signals. Now, let's be crystal clear about this. This is not a call to be pessimistic or to dwell on the negative. Not at all. The real skill here is what experts call emotional agility. It's like being a surfer. A great surfer doesn't try to stop the waves. That's impossible. They learn to ride them, the good ones and the bad ones, and use all of that energy to move them forward. And so that really leaves us with one final thought to take away. The next time you're chasing after something important and you feel that little flicker of doubt or that rush of anxiety, don't just automatically push it away. Instead, get curious. Ask yourself, what is this feeling trying to tell me right now?